It's still rolling. It's like taking its precious time. All right, hey, everyone, precious time. Hey everyone, welcome back to the live stream. Me and myself and TC Okur are here for Wine, Women, and Data Wednesday. We're going to be talking about the software again, systems, of course. And, if you don't understand the language, stay tuned because we explain a lot of these things when we talk about how we work with our clients and how we work within our own businesses. We want you to join in on our journey because the truth is that what we were talking about today is really geared around have you even started? Have you even started? Right. And that's based on the system, that's based on the software. I said earlier to TC, some of the clients that I've worked with, they have systems and software that they, have, but they've never even implemented anything. They've never clicked the button to say, hey, let me walk through this step-by-step module that they give me when I bought this software or when I started this free trial, right? Like, how many times do we go through the tours? I don't know about you, TC, but I'm a clicker. Like I do the, as soon as you start a software, I'm like, click, click, click. Okay, I already know what to do, right? I don't know if everyone's like that. But you may be a person where you're scared to even take the first click. You have it, you got the software, but you're afraid to take the first click. So we're going to talk about what that looks like today. I'm Allegra, the marketing medulla. I'm a business coach and marketing strategist, entrepreneur of so many years, I can't even count it anymore. And I love working with women entrepreneurs to make sure that they are getting their business in order, okay, and building for generational wealth. TC is here. Go ahead and introduce yourself and, start the conversation. Why don't we?
Hey, my name is TC Okore, and I work with service organizations and I work with nonprofit organizations to help them streamline and make their back end bringing that wealth, that health, that stability, and the ability to sustain the financial freedom that they desire. Now, when it comes down to your systems, that comes down to ensuring that you have your back end smooth, and most importantly, you automated the right areas of your business. Now, that's my strong point. Today's conversation is rolling around software, but I love where today's conversation is going towards because we're going to be talking about the in quotes mindset around how you get to stop blaming the software and start focusing on the right things. Honestly, I would say that this thing sometimes is not as simple you know as we think they are. But let's first start talking about where do you go from here, right? What do you have to do? How do you switch off that software mindset, if there's anything like that, just so you're able to start to see what you have, your tech stack, you see technology as an opportunity and not something that would get you overwhelmed.
Yeah, thank you, TC. I was actually writing your link in the chat. If you don't mind, put that in there for everyone
Okay.
to connect with you on your website or wherever you like them to follow. And I love how you started off with, specifically working with organizations and nonprofits. Because truly, guys, like we have to identify who our target audience is. And that's going to be pivotal, especially when you're, you know, building a software, right? That's going to work for the back end of your business. That matters too. Okay. And I think that sometimes because it's capacity. Some softwares I work with, TC, and I'm like, oh my God, it's too expensive to upgrade to that many people, right? And so I'm like, I got to find something more affordable. Boom, boom, boom. So it's basically making executive decisions along the way of your business, but starting where you are. And when I said earlier that if you're not clicking the button and you're waiting on someone to click it for you, or you're waiting on someone to tell you to do it, like I said in my Mindset Monday Live, I give you permission. If you felt like you couldn't, understand the software that is supposed to support your business, whether it's sending emails, okay, whether it's, having a website and doing a blog, whatever it is, having landing pages and templates, like whatever that software looks like for you and how it's operating in your business, you have to be comfortable using it. And I think that resonates so heavily with me because TC, when I started out my first business, I was taught by my own mentor that being independent in your own business success is important. You don't have to do it alone, but at the top of your business, you should be able to step in where it's needed.
Mm-hmm.
So if I have to depend on someone to operate my software and I'm afraid to, operate it myself, then if I, say one day that person is not there to support me, now I have to learn it anyway. And I think this is where a lot of people are, right? Just waiting to get in that stuck zone where they just have to now learn it. And I'll tell you guys a story about a client that I had that actually was, and I shared it a little bit before, but she felt so frustrated, like she was going to give up on her business. And that was her pivotal turning point because she had invested so much time, so much money. And she was just like, do I make this last investment or do I just quit? And I'll tell you guys about it in a moment. But TC, I would love to hear your take on that part.
I love the fact that, too many of us, I mean, it's good, and I would always say that I love backend. Like, sometimes I just want to just stay on my own, do my work, just chill, let no one stress me, but I've come to understand that what you don't know is greater than you. Right. I mean, I can come into your business, do all of the amazing stuff, but if you don't know something as simple as why certain things are reacting the way they are, now it's not only about you, it's even about how you get to react that basically affect every other thing and every other person around you. Now, think about the fact that you sometimes would overreact based of just very slight thing, maybe something just a little tweak, maybe something happened on your maybe landing page, you just need to do very good but hey, you don't know. Now, because you don't know, it's bigger than you, and so you're overwhelmed, you're stressed, you're going from pillar to post, you're trying to figure out, and then somebody from Fiverr is ripping you off, somebody from this is doing you this, and somebody from that. And see, I've had situations where somebody actually reached out to me and was like, "Oh my gosh, you see, I woke up and I realized that my entire website was down." And I said, "How?" And then she's like, she hired somebody to do this and do that, and blah blah. And the honest part, when I listened to her, I realized that what she actually hired somebody to do, it was something very minute. I believe that if she was aware, she would know that she just needed basic training. And I say basic because these things are just things that we need to know, not because we need you to do it, but we need you to be aware, right? We need you to be aware so that you be in control. So you're able to be better confident about how you push out what you push out. Technology, software, systems are drivers of the new age business, whether we agree or not. Even if you tell me, what, TC, oh, I get my clients this way, whether you agree or not, if you're really serious about your business, you would understand that systems, technology, structure are the drivers right now. Now, if you don't have it in your business, you need to tell yourself the truth. At least you don't need to accept it now, but either way, you will still accept it. You need to put that in place. Now, the question is, how ready are you? How open are you to learn these simple things, to get clarity about these simple things, to understand that looking at a manual, right, and trying to find out or getting basic training about the tools you use in your business so you would know the do's and the don'ts. It's not you being weak, it's not you wasting time, it's you gaining power. And that's what, knowledge and clarity around what you use in your business, the tools you use, bring for you and bring into your business.
You said a key word there, which was clarity,
Mm-hmm.
right? And sometimes we don't realize how important it is to have a clear mind. I was actually just sharing earlier with Sarah, actually, that, hey, listen, business can take you there
Yeah.
where you're starting to get overwhelmed and burned out. And especially with some of the biggest issues that people are having, which is funding or actually getting access to sales. And I think it's really important to understand that your software is really a key area to getting more sales. Like if you really think about it. Um, I remember Constant Contact in the beginning. That was when we really had a first introduction to having email blast, guys. Do y'all remember, like whoever is in the live here on the replay or on the replay, please drop a heart or a fire emoji if you remember Constant Contact. I do. Because that was the bomb at that point. Because we didn't have that. Like there was blogging, there were subscriptions in a way. There are websites, but to have a blast where you can just literally blast 1,000 people at one time.
I
And
mean,
so
that's powerful.
we've literally, I think, taken for granted, right? That these softwares are there to really help us monetize easier. Right? Like if I have conversations with certain people that say this very thing, I'm not making any money in my business. Like if it's not a mindset thing, because usually that's a mindset issue, guys. We don't do mindset issues. Okay. That's for therapy and mindset coaches and that go over there. We're talking about like, when you're in a space where your head is on, right? But you're not really sure how to move, and you're not really sure how to grow in these spaces where your software is concerned. I think it's really important, guys, to understand too that your software is just a tool that you're going to use where you're at right now. So don't be scared to try it. When I say those thousands of people that we were able to reach every day, the client that I wanted to mention to you guys, she had the software. She didn't click the button. And she had 1,000 emails. She had 1,000 emails. She literally was able to email 1,000 people at one time. So 4 weeks, right? And this is not the year that she had the software, right? Because sometimes we can pay for things and it sits and it wastes money and we get drained. And then we go, we're not making any money. We're not making any money. We're just spending it and we're bootstrapping and we're taking it out of our pockets from our paychecks.
Yeah.
And we're paying for our businesses. And then we pay for the software and it becomes a liability.
And it's so frustrating as well.
It's frustrating. Who wants to buy a business for no reason? So I say this because, when I had that experience with Constant Contact, I got excited back then. But I think nowadays, because I told you the same experience that I had with a client that was like bringing me new tools every week. And I was like, why aren't you using the ones you have? Right? This particular client had 1,000 emails, but it wasn't even in her back end. She had
scattered.
She had an Excel spreadsheet, 1,000 emails in an Excel spreadsheet. And she said, but, I've been paying for the software for a year. I just don't know how to use it. I said, did you click the button? She said, well, I just wanted to make sure. So sometimes we're in our heads, right? We're like analysis paralysis. Like, do I click the button or I don't want to mess it up, and then I'm already spending so much money. I need to make money. Well, guess what? We clicked the button. And when we clicked the button, we saw all the population, right? All the people were in the system. Now you got over 1,000 people in your program. Now you get to actually click another button and say, let me just send an email out to everybody. And it's like, boom. Right?
I mean, that's sweet. Just one step. I'm thinking, Allegra, what would you say is your software non-negotiable?
Software non-negotiable. My software has to have integrations that I'm already using. Like that's like, if it doesn't, then I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Because at the end of the day, I've seen, and I've even done this myself. I've seen it where, a new software comes out and I'm like, oh, this is really, really cool. Right. and then they're like selling you on it, right? Oh, you can do this and you can do that. And so you start thinking about ways that you can use it, but you don't really actually include all of what you're doing. So you end up getting the new software, but then you can't integrate everything that you use. So you have to use now the software you bought, and now you also have to still use a little bit of what you're using over here. So I won't actually buy into a software just because it has cool things and it's new and it's selling good. I'm going to vet that software and make sure. And I think you guys experience this with me. I'll let y'all try it first, and then I'll come back and try it if it works for y'all.
I mean, it's never it's never going to end, getting the new tools, because every day there's something new coming out. Every day there's a new technology, there's a new tool claiming it can do everything, which I don't deny, but everything is relative. Technically, everything is nothing.
Ooh,
It's not about, oh, it can do everything. The question is, can it do what you want?
yeah.
Right? And so my non-negotiable when it comes down to a software, understanding that new tools will always come out, is, well, aside from what you said, where you said, okay, it needs to be able to, because your software, whatever tool you're using, remember, tools, automation, all of those, it's meant for efficiency, productivity. It's meant to take you from where you are to where you want to be, right?
Mhm.
It's not meant to frustrate you. It's not meant to do anything magic. It's just meant to take you to that next step, right? Now, if a tool that I use is not going to support the growth that I'm currently building and going to take me to that objectives, right, that I have designed for myself. It doesn't fit into my goal, right? If it doesn't fit into my strategy, I'm not using it. It doesn't matter what anybody says. You know why? Because what we use is a determining factor to the success that we desire. How we use what we use determines a whole lot about our next level. So we need to be very careful about the tools that we use. It's either going to make us or it breaks us, right? So I'm literally tapping into Allegra's non-negotiable. I think another one for me would be clarity. You know, that's one non-negotiable I always preach about, and this is why I do that. I do that because even in business, even in everything, right? Um, like I always say that, yeah, like I always say that what you don't know is greater than you. I say that always, and I say that for myself as well, because if I don't know, it looks like I'm lost. And it's very funny because sometimes what is making you feel lost is so simple. When you finally realize it, you be like, oh, so this is even like, psst, it's so easy. You know, the part where you ask somebody to do something for you, and when they do, like, oh, that's easy. It's easy. Why did you do it since? If it was that easy. So the difference is not because it is not easy. The difference is because you just do not know, right? And so for me, I would say clarity about the software. Even in organizations, I've realized, working with, really sweet, amazing organizations with, huge teams. And one thing I've realized that is usually the hindrance is adoption. Adoption in what sense? Like when the team, like, you have the CEO, the manager be like, oh, TC, come, do the consultant, blah, 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 blah. Everybody be like feeling all cool because it's sweet too. And then you go in. If your team members, your team, whatever it is, if they're not open to adopting this particular software, like you're wasting your time and your money.
Okay, tag me in, cause what? Okay, we're about to get out of here. I want this to be just take this as a mini masterclass, guys,
Mhm.
because I've been talking with people that work in organizations, large organizations like doctors, right? Like you have these assistants, these workers in different arenas and industries, and they say exactly that. They say, we got these new systems. The guy the other day, guys, I'm gonna give y'all a real quick clue in. The guy the other day said, I don't understand the school systems because they want you to join all these different apps. He said, I don't get it. He said, you got to do an app for that, and then they want you to do over here. He said, I go to work and I got 5 other apps to join that work. he's like, I'm inundated with all of these things. And so we're dealing with a world where people are in overwhelm consistently, right? So that's why we're giving you guys some guidance in an area where you can streamline what you already have and start taking the first step, right? Take the first step and click the button. If you already did that, congratulations. I wish I had an applause button because it means that you're already on the way to your greatness, because there's a lot of success when you get into systems, strategy, software. You're going to get sales, especially if you're working it and you're tweaking it,
Yeah. Hmm.
right? And you're going to learn through that process. And I will say this last thing, and then let's end it, CC, because we got to give it and go, because we have so many live streams that we do for you guys. We want to make sure that you get it and you absorb it and implement. um but we just have to be able to understand that the quicker that we get to ourselves, guys, the more satisfied we will be with learning these systems. Because I guarantee you that part of the reason why we don't move forward with learning the system, because if somebody left, we would have to learn it anyway,
Yeah. True.
right? But we don't learn the system because we're frustrated, because honestly we're like, I ain't making no money. Nobody's buying. So we're here to assure you that there are ways. I teach my clients low cost and zero cost ways to do things like start the business, build the team, right? Get the tools, get the resources. There's so many ways to be creative and to get the money. So, guys, make sure you connect with the people that are going to guide you, lead you, and implement what you hear. Do not just hear what you hear and then go off on your day and be like, "Oh, that was nice." Hear it and actually think about how you can apply that to your life. Would you say, TC, application?
I
All
agree.
right,
Apply it,
end it.
implement it. I mean, talk is cheap, yeah. We can talk as many things we want. Listen, even when you go to YouTube and you be like, oh, those YouTube stuff, and be like, oh, I have all the answers, TC. I don't need you. Oh, you need to apply it. I mean, apply it. That's where we start to, that's when the both of us now come to talk. And that's when you would like, oh yeah, TC. Yeah. Because it's the implementation, it's the application of whatever we're talking about. That's what's going to get you result. But if you don't take that one step that Allegra keeps talking about, that result is just going to be staring at you in the eye. Not because it's far from you, but because it's just waiting for you to take that next step. To be curious, some people be like so curious, they're curious backwards. No, be curious forward. Curious.
Can you explain that real quick, just for those of us who are like, what? Curious
Okay, so let
backwards.
me explain, right? So curiosity for me is in two ways. Some people are so curious that it makes them overwhelmed. They don't take any step, right? So that's curiosity backwards. Because now you're curious, but you being curious now pushes you to that place of anxiety, then pushes you to that space of overwhelm. And instead of you to take action, you're so curious you don't move. You start to second guess yourself. You start to doubt. So that's what I call curiosity backwards.
I love it.
Now,
It's just like analysis paralysis. You're just going in circles.
yeah, but the other people who they're so curious, they want the result.
Yeah.
Now, do they know? Not exactly. But do they want to know so they can get results? Yes. Now, what
Mhm.
do? They make that move. They reach out. They ask for help. They ask for support. They
Yes.
ask questions. You
Yes.
don't necessarily need to buy a training or buy a course. Sometimes a simple question, right, Very simple question will get you to that next level of clarity that you need. So that's
Absolutely.
what I call curiosity forward, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
I love it. And guys, we're gonna get out of here and I want you to take this, digest it. I'm gonna give myself a sticker today. I don't know about you, CC, but I love to reward myself. And I've had this little sticker with the emoji faces. And what I'm gonna do is because I felt like I had a very accomplished day. TC, I know you have back-to-back meetings. I have back-to-back meetings and I still have live streams to go. So I'm gonna just give myself one and I'm gonna also get one for TC. Okay? Boom. I'll wear yours for you, boo.
Thank
We
you.
did a great job. Gonna remind myself how great I was today. Do
Oh, and it's so cute.
right and do it. And look, you can put it on your cheek. You can whatever, right? Be really fun because you got to reward yourself with the things that you do. I want you guys to celebrate every single win, even if you haven't taken that first step. Celebrate the fact that you're even here today. Like you're sitting here, you're looking at the opportunity and the possibility to take it, and then go ahead and implement and come back next week and let us know how it went. Okay. Thank you guys
Yeah.
for joining us. We will see you in the
I'll see you
DMs.
all next week.